You open the first PDF, it's a scan, it's crooked, it looks like it was photographed with a potato. You squint, deciphering the numbers and begin typing them one by one into your ERP system. What if you could just drop that pile of digital paper at a machine and say, you figure it out. Imagine you get 500 applications for one job. Instead of a human having to read every single one that claims to be a visionary thought leader with passion for synergy, the AI can scan them all in minutes, extracting key information like work experience and skills and education to quickly create a shortlist of qualified candidates for recruiters. So this isn't about replacement, it's about collaboration. It is about elevating people from being data entry clerks to being AI trainers and exception handlers. Konnichiwa. Welcome to the AI Automation Dojo, the show that looks at the mountains of paperwork bearing your business and says there has to be a better way than just buying a bigger shredder. Today we're wading into a topic that sounds incredibly boring, but I promise you is actually a secret weapon. We're talking about Intelligent Document Processing, or IDP. And yes, I know, it's another three-letter acronym, but this one has proper merit. I'm your host, Andrzej Kinastowski, one of the founders of Office Samurai, that company that, in a battle against inefficiency, aims to be the last samurai standing. So, whether you're a business leader, a tech geek, or just someone who has spent 45 minutes of their life trying to submit an expense report for a $4 coffee, you're in the right place. Now, grab your favorite katana, or your strongest pair of reading glasses, and let's get to it. Let me paint you a picture. It's 3 p.m. on a Friday, you can taste the weekend. All that stands between you and the freedom is one last task, submitting your weekly invoices. You open the first PDF, it's a scan, it's crooked, it looks like it was photographed with a potato. You squint, deciphering the numbers and begin typing them one by one into your ERP system. Invoice number, date, line item, amount. You feel a small part of your soul wither and turn to dust. You've entered the seventh circle of corporate hell, manual data entry. It's a slow, repetitive process, prone to human error, and it doesn't scale. A single misplaced decimal point can cause hours of reconciliation work. A missed invoice can lead to late payment fees and damage to a crucial supplier relationship. This is the challenge of manual data entry. It's a bottleneck in countless business processes, from finance and HR to sales and logistics. The same story plays out in contract management, claims processing, customer onboarding. This digital friction costs businesses millions in lost productivity and operational risks. Every minute an employee spends manually transcribing data is a minute they are not spending on analysis, strategy, or customer engagement. It's a classic case of intelligent humans being forced to perform unintelligent work. What if we could automate that? What if you could just drop that pile of digital paper at a machine and say, you figure it out? What if we could teach computers to read and understand documents just like humans, but, faster, without complaining, and without needing a coffee break every 12 minutes? That is the core value proposition of Intelligent Document Processing, IDP. At a high level, IDP is a technology solution that uses artificial intelligence to automatically capture, extract, enrich, and process data from a wide variety of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured documents. And I want to be very clear here. This is not your grandpa's scanner from 1998. This isn't just about making a digital picture of a piece of paper. That's digitization, that's step one. We've been doing that for decades. IDP is about comprehension. What it also isn't is a template-based OCR, which we had for decades. That approach, often called zonal OCR, required creating a fixed template for every single document layout, defining specific coordinates on the page where data was expected to be found. If a vendor changed their invoice design even slightly, moved the date field from the top right to the top left, the template would break and the process would grind to a halt, requiring manual intervention. It was brittle and couldn't scale in a dynamic business environment with hundreds or thousands of different document formats. IDP, on the other hand, is template-free. It uses AI to comprehend the document's content and context. It doesn't just look for data at fixed coordinates. It learns to recognize what, say, an invoice date is, semantically, no matter where it appears on the page. It moves beyond simple text recognition to understand the semantic meaning of the data within the documents. It's the difference between taking a picture of a book written in French and actually being able to read and understand French. Not that I understand or speak French, no. Once in France, I have asked for an espresso and a check, and I got pineapple juice, so clearly not an expert on French. But why should you care about IDP? I know what you're thinking. Great, another AI thing that's going to promise me the world and deliver another dashboard that just gives me 15 new ways to visualize how far behind I am. And you're right to be cynical. But the so what here is brutally simple: time, money, and sanity. Or how a proper consultant would put it, operational efficiency, data accuracy, and resource allocation. By automating manual data entry, businesses can reduce processing times and costs, with many organizations reporting cost reductions of data processing processes of up to 80%. This isn't just about labor arbitrage, it's about compressing business cycles. By minimizing human intervention, data entry errors, which can be costly and damage relationships, are significantly reduced, leading to higher quality data in downstream systems. This has a cascading effect, improving everything from financial forecasting and compliance reporting to customer service. High quality data is the fuel for all other digital transformation efforts, and crucially, it allows you to reallocate your employees from low value, repetitive tasks to higher value activities that require critical thinking, customer interaction, and complex problem solving. It is about elevating the nature of work itself and improving employee satisfaction by removing the most tedious part of their jobs, the parts that everybody hates most. So today we're pulling back the curtain. We'll start with how the magic trick actually works, look at where it's already changing the game, and then gaze into our crystal ball to see where this is all headed. So stick around. It's going to be less painful than the expense report, I promise. All right, so how does this digital wizardry actually happen? It's not magic. It's just a cocktail of a few key technologies that have finally gotten good enough to be useful. Think of it as the Power Rangers of AI. Each one is cool on its own, but when they combine, they form a giant document-destroying megazord. First, you have optical character recognition, so OCR. This is the eyes of the operation, the foundational layer that converts pixels on an image into machine-readable character data. Modern OCR engines, often powered by deep learning themselves, have achieved very high accuracy and can handle a wide variety of fonts, languages, and even handwriting to some extent. They don't just recognize characters, they also capture metadata, like the font size and the XY coordinates of each word, which is vital for the next steps in understanding the document's layout. Next is computer vision. This is a critical but often overlooked component. Computer vision models, particularly convolutional neural networks, analyze the visual structure of the document. They identify elements like tables, logos, signatures, and checkboxes, and this is how the system can differentiate between a header and a line item, even if the text looks similar. It's what allows the system to see the structure of a table and correctly associate columns with the rows, a task that is very difficult with text alone. It also helps in identifying the document type itself. For example, the visual presence of a passport photo is a strong indicator that the document is a form of identification. Then you have natural language processing, NLP. This is the brain, the intelligence layer. Once the OCR provides the raw text, NLP applies techniques like named entity recognition, so NER, another three-letter acronym for our collection, to identify and classify key data points, like a person's name, an organization, a date, or a monetary value. It uses advanced language models, like those based on the transformer architecture, to understand the linguistic context and relationships between words. This is what helps it understand that due date and payment terms might refer to the same concept, or that a number following the word total is likely the most important monetary value on an invoice. NLP also handles relation extraction, which identifies how different entities are connected. For instance, linking a specific line item description to its unit price and quantity. Finally, you have machine learning and deep learning. This is the learning part, what enables the system to adapt and improve. This is what makes it intelligent. IDP platforms are trained on large, diverse data sets of documents. They use deep learning models to learn to identify data fields based on their position, keywords, and relationship to other fields on the page. When the system performs inference on a new document, it's applying this learned knowledge. And this learning capability is what allows the system to handle the vast variation in document layouts without needing predefined templates like we had to in the old school OCRs. This is also where the system generates a confidence score for each extracted field, which is essential for the HumanInTheLoop process we'll discuss later. The most important part of it is that while you get pre-trained models for certain document types, they can still learn. The system processes a document, maybe it gets a field wrong, a human corrects it, and then the system can learn from it. It can say, oh, I see when the invoice comes from this vendor, the date is in this weird spot, I won't make that mistake again. It gets smarter with every document it sees, which is more than I can say for some people I've worked with. A typical IDP workflow consists of 7 key stages, forming a robust data processing pipeline. First, we have ingestion. This is the entry point. The system ingests documents from multiple sources or channels. This could be a dedicated email inbox that it monitors, a connection to an FTP server, a user-facing web portal, a mobile SDK integrated into company's app, a direct link to a cloud storage, or even a direct API call from another enterprise application. Then we have pre-processing. Before extraction, documents are optimized for the AI. This is a critical step that directly impacts accuracy. It involves automated processes like image deskewing to correct rotation, denoising to remove speckles or lines that can confuse the OCR engine, and binarization to convert the image to pure black and white for clearer text recognition. Think of this as cleaning the camera lens before taking a picture to ensure the AI has the clearest possible view of the information. 3, we have classification. Once the document is cleaned up, the system must identify what it is. Is it an invoice, a contract, a purchase order, or a passport? The system classifies the document using a combination of keyword analysis, so looking for terms like invoice or bill of lading, and layout analysis, recognizing the unique structure of like a W-2 form, for example. This step is crucial because it allows the system to route the documents to the correct specialized extraction model. You wouldn't want to use a resume reading AI to process an invoice. 4, we have data extraction. Here the core AI models get to work extracting the predefined data fields. Modern IDP systems use a hybrid approach. They might use rules and regular expressions for highly predictable data like VAT numbers or ISO formatted dates, but rely on sophisticated machine learning models to find data points like vendor names, line item descriptions, which can appear anywhere on the page. Table extraction is a particularly important capability here, where the system must correctly identify row and column structures, even when lines are missing, cells are merged, or table spans multiple pages. 5, we have validation. No system is perfect. The extracted data can be automatically validated against a set of business rules and external databases. For example, it might check if an employee exists in the ERP system, validate a VAT number against a public registry, ensure the sum of the line items plus tax matches the total amount, or check a vendor name against a master vendor list to catch slight misspellings. Data that fails validation or for which the model has a low confidence score is flagged for the next step, which is human review and feedback. This is the HumanInTheLoop stage. Documents flagged during validation are routed to a human operator via a specialized user interface. This interface presents the document image alongside the extracted data, highlighting the low confidence fields. The operator can then quickly confirm or correct the data. Crucially, this isn't a dead end. Every correction made by a human can be captured and fed back into the machine learning model. This process, known as active learning, allows the AI to learn from its mistakes, continuously improving its accuracy and reducing the number of exceptions over time. And number 7, integration. Finally, the verified structured data is exported in a usable format, like a JSON or an XML. This data is then sent via API or other integration methods to downstream business systems like ERPs, CRMs, or RPA platforms, which can then perform the subsequent steps in the business process, such as posting an invoice for payment, creating a new customer record, or triggering a contract renewal workflow. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you need to understand the difference between structured and unstructured data. Structured data is a neat-free stream. It's a spreadsheet, it's a database. Everything in it is clearly defined in a field, in a nice little box. Computers love this stuff. It's easy. Unstructured data is, well, it's the rest of the universe. It's the 80% of the information that businesses run on. It's the text of an email. It's the body of a legal contract. It's a doctor's note. It's a glorious, chaotic mess of free-form text. IDP's core strength is its ability to handle unstructured and more commonly semi-structured data. An invoice is a perfect example of a semi-structured document. It contains predictable information, like a date and the total and the vendor name, but its layout and language and format can vary dramatically from one vendor to another. IDP is engineered to tame this complexity and impose a consistent structured format on this chaotic data, making it useful for automated processes. That right there is the game changer. We used to have huge problems running RPA processes on an input that is unstructured or semi-structured, and now with IDP, we can automate those processes fine. So where is this stuff actually being used? The most obvious, the low-hanging fruit, the place where the pain is the most acute, is the finance and accounting department. Invoice processing is the quintessential IDP application. Automating the procure-to-pay cycle allows organizations to reduce invoice processing times from weeks to hours, capture early payment discounts, and improve supplier relationships. Beyond basic extraction, advanced systems can perform three-way matching, automatically cross-referencing the details on the invoice against the original purchase order and the goods receipt note from the warehouse to ensure that the company is only paying for what it ordered and received. This drastically reduces the risk of overpayment and fraud. We can start even earlier, though, with purchase order creation. Often purchase requisitions arrive in unstructured formats, like the body of an email or a simple PDF form from an employee. IDP can read those requests, extract the necessary information, such as the item description, quantity, suggested supplier, and delivery date, and automatically populate the purchase order in the procurement system, routing it for approval. This accelerates the entire procurement cycle from the very beginning. Then we have expense reports. Instead of you deciphering that crumpled coffee-stained receipt, you just take a picture. The AI pulls out the vendor, the date, the amount, and poof, it's gone. This is technology that doesn't just save the company money, it saves you from the sheer agony of fighting with your own company to get your $12 back for a sad airport sandwich. Finally, IDP is becoming a powerful tool for audit and compliance. Instead of auditors manually sampling a small fraction of expense reports or journal entries, IDP can analyze 100% of them. It can extract data from receipts, match them to expense claims, and flag any policy violations, such as reports without a receipt or claims that exceeded per diem limits. This provides a much higher level of assurance and dramatically improves the efficiency of internal and external audits. Next up, human resources. Another department drowning in paperwork. Think about resume screening. Imagine you get 500 applications for one job. Instead of a human having to read every single one that claims to be a visionary thought leader with passion for synergy, the AI can scan them all in minutes, extracting key information like work experience and skills and education to quickly create a short list of qualified candidates for recruiters, ensuring that top talent doesn't get lost in the shuffle. It can also help ensure fair hiring practices, but being configured to ignore demographic information that could lead to bias. And then there's employee onboarding. It can process new hire paperwork contracts, tax forms, identification documents, and automatically populate the data into HR information systems, payroll, IT provisioning systems, and this ensures a smooth and fast onboarding experience for new employees. Also reduces errors and ensures that a new hire has the access and tools they need on day one. It's not only about being more efficient, but also about making a better first impression than welcome to the company, here's the mountain of paperwork to get you started. But it's not just standard office work. IDP is getting specialized. So in healthcare, for instance, IDP is used for processing patients' intake forms and insurance claims, helping to reduce administrative overhead in a highly regulated environment where compliance with standards isn't negotiable. It can also be applied to physicians' notes and lab reports, extracting critical data to update electronic health records, which supports better clinical decision-making. In insurance, it's used to accelerate claims processing by automatically extracting data from damage reports, police reports, and medical statements. This is expanding into policy underwriting, where IDP can analyze application forms and supporting documents to assess the risks much faster. Some insurers are even using it to analyze patterns across thousands of claims to help identify potential fraud. In the legal sector, IDP is transforming contract lifecycle management. It can analyze thousands of contracts to identify and extract specific clauses, key dates, renewal terms, and obligations. And it is also invaluable during due diligence for a merger or acquisition, where legal teams must review vast amounts of documents under tight deadlines. It also helps with ongoing compliance by automatically flagging non-standard clauses or deviations from company policy. And then in logistics and supply chain, IDP is essential for managing the endless flow of paperwork that accompanies global trade. It automates the processing of complex shipping documents like bills of loading, packaging lists, and customs declarations. This ensures data accuracy, which is critical for smooth supply chain operations and avoiding costly delays at ports. An error on a customs form can leave a container of goods stranded for weeks, generating significant costs and disrupting their schedules. Another one is banking and finance services. The volume of documentation in there is staggering. And IDP is crucial for things like loan organization, like in mortgage processing, where applications involve dozens of documents like pay stubs, bank statements, and tax returns. IDP can extract and cross-verify information across all those documents. And with this, we can reduce the time it takes to approve a loan, for instance. And also, it is central to KYC, another three-letter acronym, so Know Your Customer Processes, or Anti-Money Laundering, AML, yet another three-letter acronym. It is a lucky day, where it automates the verification of identity documents like passports and driver licenses, matching them against customer-provided data and flagging inconsistencies. I do remember a story from a bank where a new law was passed, where they had to make sure that for every customer they have a copy of an ID containing a photo. And it was a very old bank, so they knew they have some customers that were starting their accounts before everybody had an ID with a photo. So they actually had to use IDP to search through all the documentation of all of their customers to check whether for every one of them they do have a proper ID. So there you have it. From the moment you apply for a loan to the customs declaration on your new artisanal coffee maker, there is a good chance IDP is working behind the scenes. It is the unsung hero of the digital economy, quietly preventing your packages from getting lost and ensuring your doctor has the right records. It's the responsible adult in a world full of chaotic paperwork, and frankly, we all can use one of those. Okay, at this point you might be thinking, great, the robots are here to take the last remaining jobs that involve paper. But here's the crucial point. IDP is not about 100% total lights-out automation, and that's a good thing. The smartest companies use what's called human-in-the-loop, or as our technical lead calls it, human as a tool. Think of the AI as a brilliant but slightly eccentric intern. It can do 99% of the work flawlessly. However, when the system encounters a new document, a new format, ambiguous handwriting, or a data field for which it has a low confidence score, it flags it as an exception, routes it to a human operator through a dedicated validation interface. The interface highlights the fields in question, allowing the operator to quickly validate or correct the data with a few clicks. This feedback can then be used in a process called active learning to continuously retrain and improve the AI model over time. This creates a powerful feedback loop. As humans correct exceptions, the models learn, and then the number of exceptions decreases over time. It is the opposite of what we used to have with the old school OCR systems, where over time, their quality was getting lower and lower because if you weren't maintaining your templates properly and you were not putting enough work into maintaining the templates, in time you would get less and less documents processed correctly. So this isn't about replacement. It's about collaboration. It is about elevating people from being data entry clerks to being AI trainers and exception handlers. You let the machine do the grunt work and you use your big human brain to do the tricky stuff. So you're sold, you want one, how do you pick? Welcome to the confusing, overcrowded and hype-filled world of technology vendors. The IDP market is quite robust and mature, but a few key players often come up in any evaluation. And while there are many great solutions, let's briefly touch on three major choices that represent different approaches to the problem. First is UiPath. It is a leader in the hyper-automation platform space. UiPath's strength lies in integration. Their IDP product, called Document Understanding, is not just a standalone tool, it's deeply embedded into their entire automation ecosystem. So this means you can design a single seamless workflow where a UiPath robot monitors an email inbox, downloads an attachment, passes it to document understanding for data extraction, and then uses the extracted data to perform actions in other systems like SAP or Salesforce. This tight integration makes it a powerful choice for companies looking to automate complex end-to-end business processes where document processing is just one critical step. And also, UiPath's document understanding is our first choice in IDP platforms. Then we have another big player, Abi. Abi is a pioneer and a long-standing specialist in the document capture and intelligence space. Their platform is known for its high accuracy with complex multi-language documents and its extensive library of pre-trained models for various document types. It integrates with other platforms, but its primary value is raw power and maturity of its core IDP engine. It is worth noting, though, that the company has Russian roots, and while they've since relocated their headquarters to the US, for a lot of companies in the current geopolitical climate, this is a showstopper. And then the third option, you can talk about IDP without mentioning the big cloud providers. AWS, Textract, Google Cloud's Document AI, Azure AI Document Intelligence, they all offer powerful, highly scalable, developer-focused IDP services. The strengths lie in the pay-as-you-go pricing models and massive scalability. However, this flexibility comes at a trade-off. These are not out-of-the-box solutions. They are powerful engines that require your own team of developers to build the car around them. You'll need to create the user interfaces for validation, write the code for business rules and integrations, and manage the entire workflow. This means that while the initial licensing cost might seem lower, the cost of ownership can be significantly higher due to the substantial need for custom development and ongoing maintenance. It is an excellent choice for tech-forward companies with strong development teams, but a potential trap for those looking for a more turnkey solution. All in all, the right choice really depends on your company's strategy. Do you want an integrated platform, a specialist, or a flexible, developer-centric cloud service? The choice is yours, but remember, you'll have to live with it for years to come. So, say you've picked one, you've set it up. How do you know if it's actually working or just a very expensive paperweight? You need metrics, not vanity metrics, but real ones. The first one is the straight-through processing rate, so STP rate. This is the dream, the holy grail. It's the percentage of documents that go from start to finish with zero human touch. The higher this number, the more you can hear your employees weeping with joy. Second is the accuracy rate. Of the data that's extracted, what percentage of it is correct? Is it 95%, 99%, 99.9%? This is where you separate the real solutions from the toys. And finally, the processing time. How long did it take before? How long does it take now? If you've gone from 3 days to 3 minutes, you're doing pretty well. This isn't just about sounding good on a report. It's about proving the return on investment, that magical number that gets you more budget next year. So, what's next? If this is the present, what does the future look like? We have some trends that you should be looking at. One is hyperautomation, which refers to the seamless integration of IDP into broader end-to-end business process automation initiatives. This means IDP is often seen not as a standalone tool, but a critical skill within a larger digital workforce, combining it with RPA, productivity mining, AI, and other technologies, all connected via a common platform or a robust set of APIs. For instance, a productivity mining tool might identify an inefficiency in invoice processing. IDP is then employed to solve the document challenge, and an RPA bot takes the structured data from IDP to complete the final steps in the ERP system. This is something that we have been working towards for many, many years. And I feel like hyperautomation is something that is actually happening now, that we have platforms that are integrated enough that we can call them proper hyperautomation platforms. Next, we have multimodal IDPs, where models are being trained to understand documents holistically. Consider an insurance claim that includes a photo of a car crash, a text description of the accident, a table of costs from the repair shop, and a scanned police report. A multimodal system could process and understand the relationships between all those different data types to make a more informed decision, perhaps by correlating the description, front bumper damage, with the visual evidence in the photograph. And then most significantly, the rise of the generative AI and large language models will be transforming IDP. This is moving capabilities beyond simple extraction to include summarization, sentiment analysis, conversational interaction. Using a technique called retrieval augmented generation, an LLM can be connected to the data extracted by an IDP system. This allows the LLM to access and reason over the factual information contained in your documents. So instead of you just extracting data, you can now ask in plain English, summarize the key risks and liabilities in all our Q3 contracts with this vendor, or draft a polite but firm response to this customer email based on the attached complaint form, referencing our standard return policy. So this is a paradigm shift from data extraction to knowledge discovery and creation. All right, we've been through the ringer, so let's recap the highlights before I send you back out into the wild. 1. Intelligent document processing isn't just about scanning, it's about understanding. It reads and comprehends documents, turning unstructured chaos into structured data. 2. It's powered by a potent cocktail of AI technologies. OCR, NLP, machine learning, they work together to get the job done. 3. The implementation follows a clear pipeline from ingestion and pre-processing to extraction, validation, integration, with human-in-the-loop approach being critical for ensuring accuracy and continuous improvement through active learning. 4. The benefits are real and measurable. Massive savings in time and money, huge reductions in errors, and most importantly, freeing up human beings to do work that doesn't make them question their life choices. And 5, the future is even more powerful, with new technological advancements making these systems more interactive, more integrated, and an even more essential part of the automation toolkit. So here's your homework. As you go back to your work, I want you to look for the document bottleneck. Find the paper monster. Where is the manual, repetitive, soul-crushing process in your world? Is it invoices? Is it contracts? Is it customer forms? Find it for your own sake and for the sake of all the people around you. If you want to read more, check out our website. We have some neat use cases in the knowledge section. All right, let's file this episode away. We have successfully extracted, validated, and processed all the information for today. That's a wrap for this deep dive into intelligent document processing here in the AI Automation Dungeon. Arigato to everyone for lending us your ears. Whether you were listening while stuck in a soul-crushing meeting or while bravely facing your own inbox monster, we're glad you processed this episode with us. This episode was brought to you in cooperation with UiPath, our first choice for taming the paper tigers in your office. A massive thanks to the HumanInTheLoop who keeps this whole operation running, our producer Anna Zubal, who successfully extracts coherence from my chaotic inputs week after week. We recorded this at the mighty Vocubit studio, where we turn unstructured ideas into, slightly more structured audio. If this episode didn't get flagged as an exception in your system, do us a favor, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with that colleague who still thinks a bigger scanner is the answer to all their problems. Got a question, a horror story about the document that looked like it was faxed from the moon? Drop us a line. We love hearing about the paper monsters you're fighting. Until next time, keep your data structured and your exceptions low. Matana.